Let's get to our interview of the day. I'm joined by a strategic communications expert and former director of public relations, Nigerian Army, retired Brigadier General Sani Kukasheka, for discussion on insecurity as President Tinubu mourns the military officers killed in Niger State. Thank you so much for joining us, General.
Thank you so much for having me. Good evening.
Good evening to you, sir. So let's begin with the killings of soldiers in an ambush by bandits in Niger State. Now, does this mean that these bandits still pose a great danger to Nigeria?
Come again, I didn't get what you...
I would like us to start with the killings of soldiers in an ambush by bandits in Niger State. So I'm asking, does this mean that these bandits still pose a great danger to Nigeria?
Well, there is no doubt the bandits and kidnappers have always constituted a great concern, especially in the northwest and north central part of this country. And but one other disturbing and worrying thing is the new dimension these things have assumed lately, in the sense that if you have seen the disturbing video, in which they were displaying and, kind of propaganda piece, you will understand that it is beyond banditry or kidnapping, as it were. So there is every likelihood what had been speculated over time because of the concerted effort and tremendous pressure in the northeast. Some of them have relocated to some parts of the north central and possibly northwestern part of this country. So basically, these are some of the issues that we are having. So it is beyond banditry, given what we are seeing now. So therefore, it is really something of a very, very serious concern to each and every one, particularly the security forces in this country.
But apart from the killing of the troops, there was a helicopter crash. How grave is this loss of personnel and equipment to the military?
How do we?
Apart from the killing of the troops, there was a helicopter crash. How grave is this loss of personnel and equipment to the military?
Well, what really happened is a national tragedy, in the sense that we have lost precious lives of one of the very best in the armed forces of Nigeria. Therefore, my sincere condolence not only to the family but to all Nigerians for this loss of precious lives. And because I said one of the very best, because they belong to the special forces, and the Air Force have lost also their own officers and, of course, equipment. And the Army also have lost, their personnel. So it is really, really a national tragedy. But, of course, given the nature of military service, this is something that we should understand. But that notwithstanding, we should not allow it to demoralize our troops. And that is why I'm even using this opportunity to talk to some of our colleagues that brazenly share some of these unfortunate video clips, the propaganda piece by this criminal element, that these are Nigerians who have sacrificed their lives for our well-being and for our safety and security. Therefore, they should be treated with utmost respect and dignity, whether alive or dead. Having said that, so we should understand that actually whatever happened to the armed forces is a collective thing that happened to the Nigerian society, whether it is a good thing or bad thing as it happened some days back. So we have to look at it from that perspective. It is a loss of human resources as well as some other material resources. So it is very, very tragic and quite unfortunate. We just pray that may God, may their gentle soul rest in peace. And those who are injured, we pray for their speedy recovery. And I'm so happy the military have rose to the occasion. They were able to evacuate, the bodies of these gallant troops that lost their lives, and of course those that are wounded. Presently, they have been moved to military hospital And the service, particularly the Chief of Army Staff, has gone there to not only commiserate with the troops, to ginger them up to, boost their morale. And they have indicated their willingness to continue with the fight against this criminal element that constitute a menace against the Nigerian society. Therefore, it is something that we all grieve about, but at the same time, we owe it as a point of duty to pray for them and continue to encourage and support them as they do the best they could to ensure that Nigeria is safe and secure.
But some bandits loyal to Dogogide have claimed responsibility for this crash. But Nigerian Air Force said no evidence the aircraft was shot down yet. Where do you stand on this?
Actually, just like I mentioned earlier on, anybody with a discerning mind will understand that it was a propaganda piece. Just like I told you, there is every likelihood it is some elements of the Ansaru element of the Boko Haram, terrorist group. They were just taking undue advantage of the unfortunate incidents to, booster up their presence and all the rest of the thing. And in any case, if you look at the video, you will understand they were saying AK-47. The average clean range of an AK-47, I don't think is up to 800 meters. So, and aircraft, regardless of the make or type, it cannot fly as low as that for an AK-47 to, bring it down. So automatically it's a propaganda piece. What really happened was that the troops were ambushed, and of course, in the process of their evacuation, the aircraft unfortunately encountered what it encountered, and it has to crash. And we have to leave that for the investigation. And of course, by the time they get the black box and all the rest of the thing, it will determine actually what happened. But I can rest assure you it is far from what the propaganda, what the terrorists or the criminal elements want us to believe. They were not the ones responsible for bringing down the aircraft. It might be weather, it could be technical fault, but let's wait for the investigation to find out. So, but the truth is that it is not true that it was shot down. So people should not. And unfortunately, there is a particular individual who go about, in fact, he was one who issued a statement even before the military issued a statement. So I begin to wonder, how did he come about such information? And so there are some, beyond the people that are perpetrating the criminal activities in terms of banditry and attacking people, there are those people that are in concert with them, such as the person that released that information, which is totally incorrect and inaccurate.
General, the Nigerian Air Force has vowed to pound the bandits. Does this not portray the military as being reactive rather than proactive?
Well, people will assume so, but it is not the way it is. If you look at the myriads of the security challenges in the country, they are complex, they are huge, and they kept on evolving as time goes on. And therefore, the military now are fully involved in joint operations. The Air Force, the Army, and the Navy, and other security agencies. So when things happen in that kind of thing, everybody brings what he or she has in stock to ensure the accomplishment of the task. So in this instance, the special forces were busy routing out these criminal elements, and they encountered ambush. They were trying to repel it, and of course, after repelling, they were able to gather their casualties and call for assistance and reinforcement and casualty evacuation, as it were. And quite unfortunately, the wounded were evacuated, and unfortunately, the aircraft, crashed. So it is not as if the armed forces or the security forces are resting on their own. They are doing the best they could under difficult circumstances. You need to understand also it is rainy season, and some of these areas, they are hardly accessible. In fact, it is to the credit of the armed forces, beyond their equipment holding, they evolve certain things using motorcycle to track these criminal elements. And of course, you cannot successfully deal with it without timely and accurate information. And that is why, if you even look at the release by the Nigerian Air Force, they are calling for continuous support. Because there is no way, no matter how it is, without the support of the people, the security forces could not achieve much or the desired effect. Therefore, people owe it as a point of duty to assist. And whoever is involved, in terms of giving information or cooperating or supporting these criminal elements or in any way assisting them, she or he should be exposed so that the right, they will be made to face the full wrath of the law. And more so, if you look at it, some of the state governments have even enacted some laws, making banditry and kidnapping almost, I think, capital offense. It's just that the political will to prosecute some of these people is not there. But that notwithstanding, we owe it as a point of duty to help and in dealing with this criminal, in dealing with these security challenges. And how do we do that? When you see something, you say something. Most of these criminal elements, they live along with the people. And, some of our people, when I mean our people, Nigerian citizens, assist them. Sometimes inadvertently, because they don't even know, somebody will come with supposedly with the best of intention, asking question, not knowing that he or she has ulterior motives till when they struck, then you understand. Take, for instance, we have had an instance just recently in Zamfara State when people, the bandit or the kidnappers dress in a hijab. Hijab is a Muslim dressing for, female. Under normal circumstances, there is this compassion and understanding when you see a female you would like to assist. I don't know the details, but the truth is that these are the kind of things. So somebody, for a man to go and wear hijab, definitely he must have procured the hijab from somewhere, either from a fellow man or from a lady. So people should have asked question, what do you need hijab for? Unless, of course, if you are in consent with them. So, but beyond that, there are so many. And the concept of this war economy, an economic system that revolves around complex situation is real. There are some people that supply them with weapons, people supply them with logistics, people supply them with drugs, and so on and so forth. Where are they? Why don't people expose them? But beyond that, again, we have to think of how best will the government equip and support the security forces to do the best they can. So even if you give information, they can act on it immediately without being reactive, as you were saying. So basically, it's a collective responsibility. It is not just the military or the security forces alone. It's a collective responsibility. And I'm so happy. The new mantra is that we are moving towards a whole society approach to security, in dealing with security challenges in this country, in which each and every one of the components of Nigerian society has a role to play.